No Straight Roads stars the energetic Mayday and her bandmate Zook, who are rock stars aiming to hit it big in Vinyl City. Unfortunately, the governing body, NSR, only wants to hire EDM bands and in turn makes rock music illegal. What else are they to do but rise up and take back the city from their corrupt hands? There have been tons of rhythm-based music games up to this point, but very few of them tackle the action platformer genre. The only big one that comes to mind on this scale was Brutal Legend, and that was all the way back in 2009. The idea was great, but its execution left something to be desired. A game can only go so far as a love letter to music, and No Straight Roads suffers a similar line of thought from me, but all is not lost. Dialing things back a bit, players can switch off between controlling Mayday and Zook, who each have their own skills and health bars. Or, if you have a friend or loved one close by, local co-op is also an option. For an action game, your overall moveset is pretty standard. Mash square to pummel enemies or shoot airborne enemies with musical notes. Both characters also have special attacks, but other than boss battles, normal enemy fodder doesn't produce many challenges, at least in terms of combat prowess, but there is a catch to them that is interesting in that everything moves to a beat. Even if you're bad at reading signals, again, normal enemies won't put up much of a fight after a couple strikes. Now, the real challenge of the game comes in the form of the aforementioned bosses, which are easily the best things about the game. In fact, everything in between the next boss encounter feels like filler. Exploring the city can be fun, it's a nice hub world, even if there isn't much to do, and platforming has some weird barriers set up. But the actual in-mission paths to the bosses are what really slow the pace down. It almost feels like another Cuphead situation. That game started out as a boss rush, but based on feedback, more traditional levels were added as well to seemingly pad out the experience. Without these distractions, No Straight Roads would be over pretty fast, not that the game is too long to begin with. I get the idea of developers perhaps being afraid of having too short of an experience, but for my money, I wish they doubled down on the bosses. Nitpicks aside, another great thing about the game is its style. Without it, and the killer soundtrack, this game would be nothing. Not to beat a dead horse, but I felt like there was a lot of padding involved in the game, but at the same time, other things weren't as fleshed out or were uneven, like the platforming, combat, and even some story bits. But because this game was such a visual splendor for my eyes, and an absolute rocking delight for my ears, I'm going to overlook a lot of flaws. Like witnessing a promising new band that is perhaps a bit out of tune, I still love the experience and I can't wait to see what comes next. Did you like that video? If you did, please like, subscribe, and spread the good word of ReActionExaminer. If you want to read more of my stuff, you can find a plethora of my articles over at TheGamer and Game Rant. All of those links and more are in the show notes below. Thanks for watching!